You mentioned Chinese drones, Turkish drones. Which country has the best drone?
The best is a open statement, right?
Huh.
And I think most of these countries will not reveal what they really have. Let's, just like we don't, right? What's in the public domain is not what they really have, right?
So it is true.
It is true, of course, it's true, right? But I always think US is obviously, I would say their R&D it's directly proportional to how much you spend on R&D,
Right.
right? It's directly proportional, right?
Yeah.
No matter what. So I
I
would
have
say
the
that,
data. US spent almost 3.5% of GDP on military
yeah,
expenditures.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Even Israel spends around 8.5%.
Yeah.
Russia spends around 7%.
yeah. No, so defense percentage is not a measure because you might spend 7%, but how much of that are you spending on R&D is important, right? We spend 27% on pensions,
Correct.
right? So and we spend a lot on our defense equipment itself. On R&D, there is a limitation, I would say, in India, which is growing now.
Plus
Slowly we are
plus we procure majority of
yeah
the equipments
used to.
used to.
Yeah, but now there's definitely a very, very strong push towards
It is
Atmanirbhar.
still, but it's not still there, right? We still import majority of the fighter planes, fighter jets, which eats up a lot of our budget.
So there are two sides to this, right? There's something called IC or indigenous content, and something called IDDM, which is Indian Design and Development, right? To reach IDDM, it's obviously a lot tougher because you have to own the IP. But IC content means that you don't have to own the IP. The IP might be from X country or Y country, but you're just manufacturing it here because IC content, if IC is there, then at least you know that at a wartime you will not be stifled by that country.
Right.
You have the
They
manufacturing
don't have
plant in
the
your,
kill switch.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So you're manufacturing here, and you're able to manufacture irrespective of their this thing, right? IDDM is the next step. IDDM is like when you're actually honing the IP and designing it here. So we have IDDM capability in the platforms and some of the sensors and the interceptors and all of that we develop ourselves, which we own the IP for. But we also work with a lot of national and international partners for some of the sensors and that we deploy. It is a tight balance between capability, manufacturing, and owning IP, right? You have to balance that. If you say that only I want to own IP for everything, then we'll be substandard in capability, right? If you want to say that no, I want to do everything, I want to be capable of everything, then we'll be substandard in manufacturing. So it's a balance. It's a balance between capability, indigenous manufacturing, and indigenous design and development.
So US spends a lot more money in research and development.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the reason they have better,
Yeah.
defense equipments.
Yes.
Who else stands apart when it comes to drones or defense equipments?
US, Israel, Russia, right? China. China is, China has manufacturing might, right? And it is, I would say today, China is up there, right? With the US and Israel in its manufacturing capacity and indigenous AI capacity and.
But it's very difficult to understand. Like China used to be someone who just is very good in copying. You also said it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Copying something versus researching something is very different thought process, right?
Yeah.
How do they became from just copying something to very good in research and development, or are they still copying?
They're still copying.
Huh.
They're still copying, I think.
If they are able to copy, why can't we?
I think we are like, why copy when we can purchase? Right? So we are having our own indigenous programs that today there's a lot of push towards indigenous design and development by the government. But bottom line is that this takes a few years before it can mature, right? Today there's a lot of push and ecosystems are pushing, but it takes time. And the same thing China started maybe 15 years back, right? Or 20 years back, right? And that's what got them where they are today. So we will get there. In the meantime, we still have to protect our border. So we will do what is necessary, right?
Okay, let's just compare the few top drones that you personally feel like they're really good in capabilities. US, you said, Russia, China, Israel, Turkey, all of these are good drones, right? What do they have different from each other? Or are essentially everything is more or less same?
No. They have specific use cases, right? Again, it comes on capability standpoint, right? US is interesting because they will have a substantially large innovation cell, right? So there, I've seen underwater drones and subterranean drones and things that we haven't even thought of yet being developed by the US 5 years back, right?
And they have it now.
I don't know, but it's, you only see bits and pieces, but you see the programs that they're running, right? You don't see the device, but you see the programs that they're running, the challenges they're putting out there, and then who's responding to them and what they're developing, right? So they're developing submarine capability, right? For it's called a Stingray program, which is a submarine surveillance drone that can probably cover half the oceans, right? So you're talking some serious capability. So the thinking is at a different stage now, and their spending is also there, right? I'm sure China is doing the same thing, copying them. so and
So whatever US and everyone else has, China may have.
I'm sure they're copying it, right? So and they are very, you have to understand, China and US spend a lot more on offensive as well. India doesn't spend as much as an offensive. We're a very defensive country. Like, we like to defend our borders. We're not really looking at attacking other countries, right? That's not our spend usually. So
What about Russia?
Russia is a completely different beast by itself. So it has its own entire drone ecosystem, but they are not innovate. They're muzzle, right? Then it's not about innovation. It's like, I have enough muzzle to play, right? So I would say Russia is about muzzle. So you'll have 100 of the same drones, right? Sitting and all large and big and carrying enough weapons to thwart something, but it's not like. And the recent attack against Russia, right? So Ukraine so what Ukraine did with Russia is what is the typical example of asymmetric warfare. Asymmetric warfare means that you're using something really small to take out something really big, right? And usually a big piece of equipment doesn't have the defense capabilities of to protect itself from small things. Like an aircraft carrier can fight off any large drone, any large MiG. It can detect a fighter aircraft 400 kilometers out, right? But it cannot detect a small tactical drone if it is coming towards it. It doesn't have the detection systems for a tactical drone, right? Or a local drone. So when it comes close to port, it's at risk, right? So asymmetric warfare is what Operation Spiderweb was about, saying that in the deep inside Russian territory, you'll not expect that these small drones are going to come and attack your aircraft, so you're not ready for it.
They destroyed almost 30 aircraft, right?
Yeah. So they just launched small drones and went and just blew up like these large aircrafts.
It's a typical story of elephant and ant.
Yeah, exactly. Elephant is not worried about that. So it's exactly
right.
That's
But
the right way
the
to
ant
put
can
it.
kill the elephant.
Yeah, it can. Right.
That is what is happening with these drones and
exactly.
fighter jets.
Exactly. That's a great example way to put it.
So now you talked about Russia. What about Turkey? Why is everybody using Turkish drones? What is different? Are they cheap? Are they really good in payload? What is different about them?
They were ahead in developing these things, right? And they had a very strong development program way before anyone else did in the world to some level, right?
And why did they have this foresight to develop it? Like usually US and Russia are the ones that are ahead in this game.
They definitely developed this way ahead of anyone else, right? And then and they were able to sell them globally, like extremely well. So the Bayraktar, even most of the drones that in Operation Sindoor, right?
Were Turkish drones.
Turkish drones, because they were able to sell globally rapidly, and they have, that's what it is, right? If you developed a car, forget the drone industry. Let's take the car industry. What Rolls Royce or Range Rover is developed here? Why? Why not? Right?
The demand and supply.
Yeah, it's a direct proportion, right?
Yeah.
So here the demand is for cost-effective small cars, right? So that's the need of the country, right? So people developed those, right? They never focused on Range Rovers and all, because the development need is not there, right? And that's going to be the same story with drones as well, right? We look at it for a very defensive and that mindset, right? We never needed to develop large drones to go to America and spy on them, right?
But do you think that's the time now?
I think it's happening. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're developing.
Especially after post Operation Sindoor, the mindset has shifted towards not just being defensive, but now being more cursive.
No, that's something I don't think we are going to change that easily.
Huh?
Because I think we're a peaceful
Hmm.
country in general, right? And which is good, which is where we always stood, and we will always stand, right? Unless provoked, we are not going to do something unnecessary, right? And we are not trying to, solve world peace and world hunger. Like we're solving our own hunger.
We're not looking for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say it.
I said it. Yeah.